Hello and welcome to IKIGAI. I'm Riley Harvey for Virtual Cycling News. Stream tonight is provided by ZMS Livestream, and we're covering tonight's event, the fourth in the Olympic series, the Olympic Week, which has been put on by Ratio Racing in conjunction with Mountain Goats and TNT. And tonight's is a hill climb, which is provided by Mountain Goats. Rob Gill has organised the route and helped to promote the event, and we'll be overseeing it in game. And we're looking forward to some nice climbing tonight. It's going to be a good event, a little bit for everybody. A long climb up the Mikuni Pass, which will be great for all the Mountain Goats. It's a big incline, and then we've got some flatter descending sections where the stronger riders, perhaps the heavier riders, will be able to form peloton and make it interesting. We should see a breakaway of some of the Mountain Goats getting away early on in this race, and the peloton chasing them down. So it will be a race all the way to the finish, this one. Mikuni Pass, it's a big road. It's been used in the Olympics, and it's 10.4%. It's 6.8 kilograms. So it's a really hard challenge, this one. So looking forward to seeing the races. We've got 44 sign-ups at the moment, although we're expecting to see that increase. There's usually quite a few people signing just before the event starts. And currently, Ratio Racing leading up things with the lead in the teams competition, and also several of their riders are on the podium as well. So we're hoping to see that some of the other guys will try and dislodge those tonight, make a bit more of a race of it for the week. For those watching on Facebook, if you could like and follow the stream, and if you could also turn on notifications. For those watching on YouTube, sorry, just had a bit of thunder there in the background. The weather's similar to what you can see on screen at the moment. Bit of rain, bit of thunder. Yeah, so if you're watching us on YouTube, if you can like and subscribe, and hit those notifications. We've still got a few races left in this series. You want to keep up and keep watching and see who's going to win this overall. We've got Rob Gill there loaded in on the race. One of the first riders. He's the organizer of this event. Runs every Wednesday. For those who are into the hill climbing, you can take part in this event, not just today, but you can take part in the Mountain Goats events every Wednesday. Rob puts on some fantastic climbs, some of the famous climbs from all over the world. And we're underway. As usual, starting with a high-powered sprint off from the line. Usually creates a separation straight away from the groups until we get around about 500 meters away from the start line there, and it starts settling down. You can see the power's going red. Nick Greenhouse, one of the big riders from Ratio Racing here, trying to make an impression straight from the start. Nick Greenhouse there is pushing 350 watts off the line, trying to encourage everybody to go with the front group and create some separation. This is a little bit of a flatter downhill section, so the heavier riders are going to benefit here. They won't have to put in as much effort. Gravity will be helping them to keep up. You can see Hederdam bouncing around at the front of the race there. Did very well in the time trial the other day. He was in the hot seat for quite some time. Greenhouse, we're just seeing the elevation approach now, 5-6%. I think we'll start to see some of the lighter riders come into the fore here. Just saw Joris Sheppers going past the view there as he went forward. Joris was one of the first guys to do an Everesting on RGT, and I think just slightly before it was recognised by the Hells 500. Of course, RGT is one of the only two platforms now recognised for the V Everesting attempts. So if you've got climbing legs, that's something you can put in your diary as a challenge to set yourself. It's only 8,848 meters, so I think everybody should be doing that. Simonson there, I think he's one of the EKCD riders. Just refreshing now, we're up to 66 sign-ups on the group now, so it's quite a good race. Should be plenty of riders in there to make it competitive. Heiderdam did well in the TNT events as well yesterday, but just think perhaps needs a little bit more practice to get used to the format. The TNT racing, the track racing is a little bit of an unusual format for a lot of riders. People in the virtual cycling world don't get to experience those sort of events too frequently. Got Hodges there on the front of the race. And there we can see Shepherd in the background just closing in on them. You can see these gradients really taking an effect on the race, slowing down these riders. The cobbles are just for a visual effect, you don't actually get the effect of the cobbles in game. And we've got terrible enough road surfaces, who wants to experience it on a turbo trainer as well. James Hodges there going at 380 watts. So it's quite a continuous long climb, this one. Something you can sit into your tempo for and just push all the way through. There's obviously the risk that people might go a little bit too early and just burn themselves out before they crash this hill. Heiderdam 438 watts. We saw Heiderdam in the time trial just continuously applying the power all the way through, so that he's definitely one to watch on this. He can apply this power all the way up to the top of this crest and then hit it on the flat. And if he can keep some gap, I think he'll be one to watch for going all the way as a solo on this race. Kujawski, very good rider for the Rasia Racing guys. 350 watts there. You saw him some of the Monday night races, just taking brakes off the front, softening up the peloton, and then the rest of the Rasia Racing guys tying up the wins. And they've got Jay Reid from the Pedalars, only pushing out 290 watts there and keeping up with the riders, so possibly a little bit of a lighter rider. Christophe Contant, another Pedalar rider there, the two of them together, 320 watts, heart rate of 162. He's just coming up on his teammate there. See them pulling together, working to use the draft. There's not much draft on these slopes at the moment. RGT knocks out the draft as you're going up on the gradient. You still get a little bit when you're very close, but the distance effect is lesser. So you need to be right on the wheel of any riders to make any benefit, and it is only around about the 5-10 watt benefit at these sorts of speeds. Askew coming up on Reed there, 375 watts. And they'll be shortly coming up on Contant. And we see Rowbottom just behind him there, another Rasia Racing rider. See the field strung out going into this climb. Wouter Claes did very well in the TNT event the other night. He timed his efforts really well. Nice sprint efforts. We've got John By the Way there, one of the RGT staff. He's a rider that does prefer the hillier stages, although he's not been putting in as much riding time. He's been busy behind the scenes with RGT and the work that's going on. Not quite as much riding time in the legs. We'll see how he goes on tonight. And Simonson with his compatriot Ho. And back towards the front of the race here, we've got Krajowski, Contant, Anderson. Reed's just dropped back a few places there from his teammate. Marshall. You can see Rowbottom back in 8th place there, just gradually closing in on these leaders. He's using his matches quite wisely. He's not going too hard early on. Lee Marshall just pushing up a little bit here, coming past 6th position. 310 watts. Quite a low heart rate. It's not something I'd be able to achieve at that sort of power. So the cobbles there are provided by the Europe in Springtime skin. When you create these races for yourself, you can choose between two currently. Either Europe and Springtime, which is the kind of a cobbles classic theme with the green scenery, you know, the fields, the trees and the cobbles, a little bit of rain, a few puddles on the ground. Or you can choose the RGT classic skin, which is a bit more of a sunnier climbs, a little bit sparser in the vegetation, a little bit more sunshiny, not quite as moody as this event is, and kind of cleaner tarmac. Lee Marshall that we were just with there, they've been partaking in the OTR Veteran Series, been gradually building up in the ranked events. Just had a message come through on there on the socials from Anders Norgard. Jay Anderson in the top 10, he's strong uphill. So we'll see how he goes there. It's nice to have the supporters making a shout out to the friends. You can get in touch on the Facebook page if you're watching this on Facebook, then send a comment in.